All right, so welcome to this section of our Family Engagement Day. My name is Anita Manuel, and I'm the Internship and Work-Based Learning Specialist here for Epic Charter Schools. I work in the College and Career Readiness Department, which focuses on helping our high school students graduate with a clear plan and a clear path for what comes next. So that's what we're going to visit about today. If you have a high school student, this is going to be super beneficial. If you have a junior high student, this is going to be super beneficial. If you are ever going to have a high school student, hopefully this is fantastic information for you. So let's go ahead and get started. There are four large sections that I want to talk about this afternoon. The first one is schedule. We're going to talk about the class schedule, how that gets accomplished, why it's important, and who all is involved there. We're also going to talk a little bit about making a day-to-day schedule for your student, if your students are capable of doing that on their own, why that's important, and talk about consistency for the student. Second, we're going to talk about the individual career academic plan, otherwise known as the ICAP. This year, 9th, 10th, and 11th graders are all required to complete the ICAP as part of their graduation requirements. Coming this fall, for fall 22 and moving forward, all high school students will be completing this plan on an annual basis. So it's updated every year, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. The ICAP is so important that we like to call it the first step in the student's next step. Third, we're going to talk about next step classes. So this is a huge piece of information, lots of moving parts, tons of information there. We won't go into all the detail, we just won't have time, but I will be available this afternoon after the session if you have specific questions. I'll make sure you leave today with how to access additional information. So that is number 3. And then number 4, post-secondary planning. What happens when you have a college-bound student and you've never been to college yourself, right? How do we help you facilitate that next step for your student? So we have a fantastic opportunity now after adding a position to our department this year of an individual person to go to for scholarship advice, for application advice. So we'll touch on that as well. So those are the 4 main parts that we will talk about. There we go. All right, so we're going to talk about schedule. As Benjamin Franklin liked to say, failing to plan is planning to fail. So the first thing I want to touch on is that what is required through high school. I would encourage each of you to go out to the State Department of Education's website. You can search graduation requirements. Based on the year of graduation, there is a piece of paper that you can download, and it tells you exactly what is required of your student in order for them to obtain a high school diploma. That's something that I have out. I can show that for you out in the lobby after the section if you'd like to see that. But I would encourage you to become super familiar with that. Print it, have an electronic copy, check it off as you go so that you can have meaningful conversations with your student's teacher and also with their graduation support manager about what is required for your student in each year. So planning is important. And we're going to talk about then the road to 23. So as it stands right now, every class of 22, class of 23, 24, 25, all of those graduation requirements are out there on the OSDE website. So all of those require 23 credits to graduate. And then this kind of shows you a path. So in the 9th grade, if you have 0 to 5.75 credits, you are classed as a freshman. To be classed as a sophomore, you must have a minimum of 6 credits complete, right? So 6 credits to 11 and 75 gives you a sophomore classification. A junior classification is 12 credits to 17 and 3/4 credits. And then to be classed a senior, you must have at least 18 credits. Okay. So who helps facilitate your schedule, your students' schedule? So maybe you have an 8th grader. Well, all right, now I know I can go and pull out the requirements from the State Department of Education. What is my student required? That'll give you a really good indication of what your student will be doing in freshman year. English, math, science, history, electives, right? Maybe computers, maybe a foreign language. There's lots of choices built in there. So if you come equipped with that information to your ILP, those initial learning plans that you meet down with your teacher, and you say, hey, I've got some information here. Let's talk about what my student is going to be doing this year, and then maybe kind of get a general plan for in what years is the student going to take the required classes. We have an entire department here at EPIC. It's called our Graduation Support Specialist Department, and they do all the back office scheduling. So your student is assigned a specific graduation support specialist that you can reach out to in conjunction with your teacher when you have questions and how to build that schedule. Maybe you think this particular elective would be better for your student, and so making schedule changes, that happens through your GSS, or Graduation Support Specialist. Now let's just briefly discuss why it's important that your student have a day-to-day plan. Right? I don't know about you guys, but I generally wake up at the same time every day. I generally have breakfast at the same time. My day follows a pattern. I get a lot accomplished when I follow a pattern, and so do students. For high school students, many of them are starting to stretch their own legs and kind of make their own plans and become their own person. So I would encourage you to help your student make a plan that works for them. One of the beauties about EPIC is that it's flexible. So if your student has peak brain time at say 3 in the afternoon, and they want to start school at 2 in the afternoon and work from 2 to 7 or 8 every day, as long as that fits your family plan, that's perfectly fine with EPIC. But I would suggest that those daily schedule be consistent over time. Your student will then be able to figure out plan time to meet with their teacher, if they need assistance, how to get help, that sort of thing. So when you're getting started in high school, it's important, just like all of your current students, to know where all of their classes are. What application are they found in? How do I log in? When do I meet with my teacher? How do I reach out to my teacher? What happens if I need additional support? Where do I go for that? Right? That's all wrapped up inside of scheduling. All right, number 2, and I think we'll just save the questions to the end, and then we can flip back through the slides if you have a specific question that we can find. So let's talk about the ICAP, Individual Career Plan. I mentioned it a little while ago, saying that beginning in the fall of 22, every student in high school will be required to complete this activity. So again, we like to call this our first step to your student's next step. What this encompasses is a website where your student is logged in, they have their own account, and they work through a number of activities. They work through them either on their own or in conjunction with their teacher. Parents could help them, guardians could help them through these activities. And what are the activities designed to do? They're designed to help the student understand their own interests, strengths, values, and their learning style. We are also helping them create a vision for their future, develop individual goals, and prepare a personal plan for achieving their vision and goals. So there are some assessments in here that really help the student understand what their interests are. What are my passions? What do I want to do for a career? There's career research available in here. You can go in and say, let's say I want to be a cosmetologist, right? I can go into my ICAP and I can do research and find out things like what education is required to become a cosmetologist. What is my potential salary? What does that look like? What is the forecast for cosmetologists in Oklahoma, right? And You can do that for any number of careers. Any career probably you could think of is inside ICAP. It's also going to help the students build resume, build extracurricular activities, leadership skills. It's a way for them to create that portfolio for high school that helps them into their next step. If they are going straight into the workforce, what they do in the ICAP can help direct them to the path that leads directly into the workforce after high school. If they're going to consider a technical field where career tech is an option, then the ICAP is going to help them find that path. It will also help find the path to college. So the ICAP, again, is super important. We have 2 individuals on our team solely dedicated to helping your students through these activities. And they have weekly office hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I believe. I will double check that for you guys, but it's at least 3 to 4 days a week, 1 to 3 in the afternoon. One of our ICAP coaches is available almost every week, just as an open forum. Of course, you can always call and make a scheduled appointment if those times don't work for you. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school, my high school looked like this. Right? We are a completely different model. We don't have hallways as a general rule. Our students don't get up every day and get on the bus and then go into their lockers and find their books and go to their classrooms. We don't have the option of your student just making an appointment or a random Tuesday walking into their counselor's office to ask questions. We have an entire team, 9 individuals, in the College and Career Readiness Department in conjunction with your teacher and their graduation support specialist to help you help your student on the path to success. So I briefly just want to introduce each one of them. Up here in the left corner for you, our Managing Director, Nicole Ellison. She's our fearless leader. She's amazing. Next we have Angie Lee. She's our Concurrent Enrollment Specialist. She focuses on TEL and ECA, and I'll explain what those acronyms are shortly. Next we have Ashley Constable. She's our Career Technology Counselor. So if your student is looking at a technical career, she is in touch with every single career tech available in our state. She has contacts, she knows the programs, and she can help facilitate that connection for you. Down at the bottom are our 2 ICAP coaches, Marina Johnson and Austin Terry. Again, they are focused solely on helping your students with their plan through that ICAP and those activities. At the top on the right is Shannon Starr. She is our area college concurrent contact. So she helps facilitate and answer questions when your student wants to do concurrent enrollment in person at their local college, right? Next is Nicole Brown. She and I work together pretty frequently. She is our virtual internship facilitator, and that's a new position this year. And I'll touch on that, it's super exciting. Next is Brianna Brassfield. She is our college application and scholarship counselor. So when I talked about that one person who can help your student navigate scholarships, navigate the FAFSA, figure out how to pay for college, she's your go-to person. She's phenomenal. Again, lots of contacts, a great resource for you. Next and last, I suppose, is myself, internship and work-based learning specialist. So what I do is help facilitate and find internships for our students at the high school level, help them through, if they have a job, how do you get elective credit for that? And we have been working really diligently this year on just bringing out some new opportunities. So we'll touch on those in just a moment. So number 3, now that you've kind of been introduced to our team, let's talk about each of those big parts of Next Step. So these are opportunities for your students to earn elective credit and potentially also dual credit, meaning I take one class and I get high school credit and college credit at the same time. So we're going to briefly talk about some of these options. The thing to know is about anything we talk about next step is typically focused on 11th and 12th grade students because the State Department requires that every junior and every senior for at least one semester in each of those years participate in a next step course. That doesn't mean there are not opportunities for 9th and 10th graders. There are, right? But when we put it under the title Next Step, that is really targeting 11th and 12th graders. But 9th and 10th graders have many of these same opportunities. All right, let's dive in. So early college and career exposure through courses aligned to students' interests and post-high school goals. So again, going back to that ICAP, when your student starts to see, I'm really interested in veterinary medicine, I'm really interested in engineering, I'm really interested in welding, I'm really good at my hands and I love carpentry, right? As they start to develop those ideas for themselves and they think, is it even possible to make a career out of that? When they start to see those options for themselves, and we can use dual enrollment, AP courses, career tech, internship and work-based learning to get them exposure to those careers in which they're interested, get them a head start on their education that is needed to jump into those careers. That's what we're all about. So what does Next Step look like? The Next Step program is helping students plan for their next step on their journey, known as life after graduation. So here at EPIC, we have a stated goal that every student graduate prepared to step out into the world, prepared to step into their next step, is that straight into the workforce. If that's their path, we want to help them be prepared for that. If their next path is continuing in technical education at a career tech, maybe they've started that in high school but it's not finished, we want to help facilitate that next step for them. If your student is college bound and looking at a career that requires a 4-year degree or even a 2-year degree, we want to help facilitate that. Can we get started on that in high school, right? And then what are the benefits of those things? All right, this is my area, internship and work-based learning. And as I was mentioning earlier to a couple of you, I could probably spend the rest of the afternoon just talking about this. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but we have lots of new things going on here. Underneath the umbrella of internship and work-based learning, we have 4 broad options: virtual internship, external internship, work-based learning, and our fabulous EPIC News Network. So our virtual internship is new this year. Being a virtual school, in the past we've not been able to place students because of whatever reason they're unable to leave their home, right? So some of the population of students we have and why they come to EPIC, for a myriad of reasons, they prefer not to leave their home or go out into the community. So we are looking for an opportunity to be able to place those students in internships. So we've developed our own, and we call that the virtual internship. And Nicole Brown, if you remember back on that slide, is the facilitator for those classes. We have 2 pathways underneath that umbrella. One leads to industry certifications. We have 16 currently available. And the other one is a non-certification pathway. Next, we have external internships. So this is what you think of when you think of like a traditional internship, right? This is community-based. My student goes and interns with their local veterinarian, right? They walk the animals, they take them out, they clean the cages, et cetera, et cetera. We've also worked to build partnerships there. So if your student is looking for a particular type of internship, there may be an option to connect with one of our partners. We have several EPIC departments that are actually partners. So if your student is interested in becoming an educator, they could potentially intern at one of our blended learning centers or in another fashion. Also consider that some of these external internships are remote. Okay, so again, trying to fill that need for our students in particular who attend a virtual school. Work-based learning is exactly what you think of as work study, right? So your student has a job. They're working at Sonic, they're working for their dad, they're working at Walmart, they receive a paycheck. They're learning valuable skills. And so here is a way for your student to earn an elective credit while they're working and learning those skills and earning a paycheck. And then Epic News Network is just an amazing opportunity. It is a professional journalism program. The two directors, Mr. Carter and Mr. Cross, are both professional journalists. We actually have our own Epic News Network. It's a whole website. They produce podcasts, they produce print media, they produce visual media. It's just an amazing program. So if you have a student that is at all interested in journalism, I would highly, highly suggest that program. When your student is interested in any of these options, they can contact their teacher or their graduation support specialist, or you can contact me and we can help get those options on the student schedule. All right, career tech. So as I mentioned, Ashley is our go-to for career tech. So career tech is a way for students to go to school for those technical careers. Welding, cosmetology, culinary arts. The number of programs and the types of programs are more than I can list this afternoon. But Ashley is available to help you navigate what's available at your local career tech. So students are bound by their local school district and they're assigned to a local career tech. There are ways to kind of cross between career techs, but again, that is something that Ashley would be involved in, or reciprocal kind of situation. If a program is not available at your local career tech, but available at one close by, there are potentially ways for your student to go to the other tech. High school students living in a technology-centered district can apply for their program of choice. Students generally apply the prior year. So this is important. If your student is looking at a 2-year program, for example, cosmetology, mostly that's a 2-year program. The time to apply is when they're a sophomore, right? So that they can start their junior year. So being proactive, going on now and looking at what's available, talking to your student about options for themselves, right? Every career tech has their own application requirements and dates and processes. So students who are accepted and attend full-time programs do so tuition-free. Okay, so it's the full-time programs. Again, the next step, Career Tech website section of our department's website can answer tons of those questions. Ashley's fantastic at answering those questions. There are short-term programs, and you can use your learning fund to cover those costs, but these classes do not earn high school credit. So it can be a little sticky, so you want to make sure, what is your intent? What program are you looking at? If you have questions, reach out to Ashley. If you are intent on earning high school credit in whatever program, it has to be at least a full year program, and it must lead to a certification. Concurrent enrollment. This is another really large part of what we do. We have many, many avenues. Concurrent or dual enrollment is where a student is actually enrolled in a university or college and their high school EPIC. They take one class, or any number of classes, but a class that they take earns both high school credit and college credit. So that's the dual enrollment, the dual credit. It can be really beneficial for students. It saves time, it saves money. We have a program called ECA, which is our Epic Collegiate Academy. where your student can earn an associate's degree while still in high school. ECA is run virtually through TEL, our TEL Library Concurrent Enrollment. So you can do just TEL classes virtually as dual enrollment on their own. You can apply for Epic Collegiate Academy to work toward that associate's degree while in high school. And then there's the area college concurrent enrollment. So if you live around this area, Rose State is a great college. A lot of students that we have go to Rose State and earn dual credit. Again, area colleges, all colleges. Some are public, some are private. They will have their own applications, their own deadlines, and so you'll want to be sure that you're paying attention to that. Right? Start looking now. If when you're working through that ICAP, your student really starts to get a good picture of their path in life, you can start now, right? What colleges are close to me? What programs do they have? Do they have a concurrent program? What does that look like? Can any of it be done online? Does it have to be done in person? If you're looking strictly for online, our TEL Library concurrent enrollment is a fantastic option. Enrollment for summer and fall will be open as early as February. So if you have a 9th, 10th grader now, or 11th or even an 11th grader who is looking at concurrent enrollment, consider that you might enroll in February, or apply in February, so that they can take classes over the summer and into the fall, right? So it's a regular application. They usually have what's called a concurrent enrollment application. So it's not the full college, like I'm going in as a college freshman. It's a special application. But you'll want to check those out. And Shannon Starr heads up our area college concurrent enrollment, and then Angie Lee is our TEL contact, and she does TEL and ECA. ECA again is that Epic Collegiate Academy where your student can earn an associate's degree while in high school, which is amazing because, I mean, think about it, no matter what your student is going to do in life, if they're going on to a four-year school, if they're going to finish at Career Tech, they're going directly into the workforce, if they can walk out along with their diploma and an associate's degree, then that makes them much more marketable in the workforce. Post-secondary planning. Applying, searching, and planning. So this next few slides it's all Brianna's area, and she is amazing. She's brought so many great resources. She's continually adding to our list of scholarships. She's an expert on FAFSA. So we also are planning college tours on a regular basis. We have what we call our college and career event calendar. It's on our website. And you'll see tons of college tours on there. You'll also see anything our department is doing is going to be on that calendar. Each college has its own college application deadline. Again, so it's important to look at those dates if you're interested in specific schools. Okay? So deciding whether or not to go to college is step one. Not the path for everyone, right? I mean, we all have taken different paths to get where we are, and they're all valid and they all offer wonderful opportunities and careers for our students. But if college is a path for your student, the next step, right, and as I'm sure you all know, oh, I have 5 minutes, all right. I'll talk faster. The cost of college has skyrocketed. Like when I went to college, I was able to live at home with my parents, work, and pay for my school, right? It wasn't easy, but I could do it. I could work 25 hours a week and go to school. That's really hard now with the cost of education. So the FAFSA is your first step. It opens annually each year, October 1. EPIC has tons of resources to help your student understand these steps and navigate the process. Okay? College planning. Again, be proactive. Don't wait until the 11th grade to take the ACT. If you know your student is college bound, start taking the ACT as a freshman. It gives you great, valuable information. Brianna is fantastic resource for you. On our website, we have lots of resources. I'm trying to get through this so we can have a few minutes for questions. So here are a lot of our resources. You're going to see we have our Find Your Future Friday. So every Friday at 11 o'clock, we bring in industry professionals where our students and families are invited to come into the Zoom session with us and hear from those professionals. This week is healthcare. We have a dentist, and I believe we have an RN coming to speak with our students. So if your students are interested in the healthcare field, I invite them to come. You can check out our schedule is on our website. Again, we have our college and career event calendar, which is on our website, and there are going to be QR codes in just a minute so you can get all of those websites. We have a newsletter that goes out to all of our high school students and their families every month with great new information, FAFSA and financial aid. There's also a section on our website for suggested grade kind of checklists, like what do you do your freshman year, what do you do your sophomore year, what do you do junior, senior. So those can be super helpful. All right, and if you happen to have a senior, EPIC's graduation information is up on the EPIC website, and it is live and filled with amazing information. This year it looks like we are having 3 different graduations, one in Stillwater, one in Tulsa, and one in Norman. Okay, here is your chance for QR codes. High school resource sheet. And while we're doing this, if you guys have questions, I'm open to. And as I know we're kind of running short on time, again, I will be out in the hall. Please come visit me. I can show you anything that we talked about today. Go a little bit more in depth. You guys ready for the next one? Again, Benjamin Franklin. Failing to plan is planning to fail. 2 other QR codes. Today's presentation, so what we just went through, if you want to snap that. And then also the Next Step website that I've been continually referring to. It's just a wealth of information. We keep it updated every month, sometimes more frequently than that. Anytime we have new information to share, you'll find it there. I highly encourage you to become familiar with that website. If we don't have any questions, I just want to thank you for coming and spending the last 45 minutes or so with me. Again, my name is Anita Manuel, and I'll be available for the rest of the afternoon.